Welcome to the Well Within radio podcast. I am your host, Shalina Litt. So, Samantha, which one is it? Which one do you prefer?
I think I'll let you call me Sam because, you know, we're friends now.
Oh, thank you so much. Samantha Faulkner.
Samantha Faulkner.
I say that quietly, like slowly, just in case I say it wrong.
It's a good name.
I love it. Strong name.
Strong name.
So, for those that don't know who you are, do introduce yourself and tell them, what you do.
So, I am Samantha Faulkner, or Sam. I am a life coach, stroke business coach, actually. So, yeah, spent the last number of years coaching business owners, ensuring that they are in alignment with their values. And then more recently, after going through my own kind of stuff, I've gone into kind of personal life coaching, and that's what I'm doing now.
Now, I'm not going to let you undersell yourself, because when we did have a conversation, I did not know half of the stuff that you told me about. So we're going to go right back to the beginning.
Okay.
Because the thing is, the beginning is important, because I think it helps people understand really the levels of who you are.
Yeah.
And often we all have a story that helps us understand other people, so that when we meet someone, we're like, don't worry, been there, done it, got the t-shirt and the cap and the trainers.
Absolutely. And the best thing about each and every one of us is our narrative, and it's what will connect us together. And I think a lot of the time we're either taught to hide it, be embarrassed about it or ashamed of it, or we try and put on some kind of facade so that we are hiding it. And when we actually get down to the nitty gritty, and when we're brave enough to open up and tell people our stories and our narratives, that's when the true magic happens, and that's when you really connect.
So, yes, it is really important, I think, what you said about life experience. What was it? When was the moment you think that there was a turning point in this direction of coaching?
Oh, that's such an interesting question. So I did my coaching qualification quite a while ago, like a good few years ago now. But I never told anybody that I was a coach. I kind of hid behind, I'm a business consultant, and because I was a bit embarrassed, I thought it was a bit cringy. And then all of a sudden, I think kind of over the last 12 to 14 months, I've kind of fallen into it a lot more, and I've just been more accepting of it. Because a number of reasons is people kind of came to me and started asking me to coach them, institutions that I was kind of proud of, and that kind of changed my own perception of it, which isn't great really. But I think personally, going into the more trauma-based stuff, going into more of the guided meditations, using my voice a lot more, going into more of the soothing side of things rather than the values alignment in terms of business, that kind of happened in the last 12 months. And that was after going through my own kind of personal breakdown, really. I really had to think about reevaluating my life, who I wanted to be and what my purpose was.
Yeah. And that's right. See, this is what I'm saying. Immediately, this is why I know, people are captivated, because you speak your truth. Yeah. And it's important to exchange, the fact that you've gone through your own experiences that helps you understand. And so can you share a little bit of what it was that happened around the time that...
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it was around about the time I turned 40.
Okay.
And there's something that happens to women when they get to that age. It's almost like your tolerance goes for living a lifestyle that isn't really you. And you kind of get pushed into this, what am I doing with my life? Maybe it happens for men too, right? There's this whole thing about a midlife crisis, but I can't speak. That's not what I know, because I haven't been through it. But for me, there was definitely this shift of what am I doing? Like, I'm just messing around here. Like, there's something more important. And it's really funny because I'd coached business owners previously about values alignment, about purpose. And the reason that I was doing that was almost because I was searching for it myself. And it wasn't until I kind of hit this barrier and I was like, right. And everything kind of changed in my life. There was massive changes. And I was like, I really need to decide what's going on here. So I took the tools that I had learnt myself and I started doing all of the exercises on myself, as well as working with psychotherapists, as well as somatic healers, breathwork coaches. I mean, I did anything that I possibly could. Yoga retreats, studying, throwing myself into self-help. And I really took a deep dive into, why am I repeating the same patterns that I've repeated my whole life, and how am I going to change the person I am, and what is going to make me feel better? Like, what is going to make me want to live and live this really like strong, passionate life and feel passionate about life again? And it was definitely purpose.
Yeah. And isn't it interesting that we do have to marry the two, right?
Yeah.
Success isn't just about financial success. It's not just about getting it right where you end up. We have to go deeper, and that sometimes that means going backwards.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about you, but for my whole life, I had never been taught that you should do what you love. I had been taught that kind of you go after the money, and then, you know, but you kind of do some bits that you love, but your job isn't meant to be all amazing, or your work isn't meant to be, you know, fit in with who you are. Like, you go to work, you do something, and you know, you're good at it, you like it, but it's a calling, it's a purpose. And there's some people that have lived their whole life that way, but I hadn't.
Yeah.
And I made a really conscious decision. I mean, I remember waking up the one day and I was like, right, I'm not going to take any work unless I love it. I'm not doing anything unless I know it's going to bring me joy, unless I know that I am going to really enjoy it, then I'm not going to do it.
Yeah.
And it was a really hard decision, because I had to shift what I was doing anyway, shift my focus, come away from certain businesses and institutions that I'd worked with, and I was turning work down. And I was, you know, living on my own. I needed that money.
Yeah,
I did. But I was like, just stick to your guns on this one. Yeah. And I almost treated my life as a bit of an experiment. Yeah. And looking back now, I think, God, what was I doing? But I was like, no, I believe this.
Yeah.
I believe that if I do what I really love, and if I stick to it, that more work will come and more good will come. And then I can tell people that that's what I do, and they will feel enlightened to do it too.
Yeah.
And that's what I did.
Yeah.
And at the moment, it's still working. And don't get me wrong, I'd done jobs that I really enjoyed, but they just were not fulfilling. They were not purposeful. And it was, I've always felt like I was giving so much and I was tired.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, what it seems like you've done the transition from, instead of walking in fear, you're walking in love now. So you're not governed by fear. Oh God, what if I do this? Whatever. You took a, you know, the leap of faith, and walked in love and was like, I'm gonna walk a life with meaning, right?
Yeah, and I really like the way that you've described that. And I would love to go, I took the leap of faith. But I kind of had no choice. I'd got to a stage, I'm a really sensitive person, and I got to a stage where, you know, what was the point in my life? And I really was like, if I don't do this, then there's just no point.
Yeah.
And that's what it was. So there was a lot of faith that was needed in that. And there were times when I was like, oh, what am I doing? And I was just like, no, you know, follow the love. And I tell myself that a lot. But I was almost at a position in my life where I had to do it. I wish I could say I'd done it at 30 or I'd done it at 26, and there had been signs of this throughout my whole life that, I should be doing stuff like this, and I'd ignored them. But I'd got to a point where I was like, right, no, I'm doing it now like this, and I'm going to do what I love, and the rest will fall into place.
Yeah.
And it did.
And it did. It totally did.
And it still is.
Yes. And I love the fact that you've also fallen into alignment of going through this and now empowering other people, other women with this narrative, and saying you don't have to find it in your 40s, you can find it earlier than that.
Oh my God, I would love you all to find it like when you're 6 years old. But alignment is the thing.
Yeah.
That is the absolute thing. You have to live in alignment. And I always kind of knew what my purpose was. I knew what sparked me. I knew what got me excited. But there were certain things within my life that I was restricted by, or I couldn't do, or I necessarily wasn't living in alignment with who I was.
Yeah.
And that would then hold me back. So things like drinking alcohol, for example. So I recently I've been sober for 12 months.
I know. Don't just skid past that. Hello, 12 months.
Yeah,
you go, girl.
I was I'm doing it. And I'd always given up alcohol for certain amounts of time.
Yeah.
And then done 3 months or 100 days or whatever. But I was like, no, I'm doing it.
Because that is a really big one. Let's not, because you're saying it like, 12 months of escape. You're ready to move on to the next chapter. But I know a lot of people that are still in that. And it's funny because our previous guest was talking about anything that kind of goes into escapism.
I was listening to that. Ooh. And I agree with that. I was escaping. Yeah.
Yeah.
With a multitude of things. And I totally agreed. Yeah. And actually, that's kind of what happened. So I wouldn't say that I had a massive drink problem or anything like that. But I found myself coming home and escaping. I wasn't necessarily happy with the contracts that I was doing or where I was going with my life, and I was coming home and I was drinking, and I was sitting at home on my own and drinking. I wasn't drinking to celebrate, or I was doing that, and that for me is escapism. And I realized that, hang on a minute, this isn't what I want to be teaching my clients. This isn't who I want to be seen as. And you think, I'm at home on my own, no one's seeing. But people can tell. And it's the energy you bring, right? And the energy you give out. And it was affecting my energy. And my energy is so important. It's like the most valuable thing I have. So all of a sudden I was like, I can't do this anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. And since then, it's meant that I can live in alignment. So I'm more aligned to the person that I want to be. I'm proud of the person that I am. I'm not tired. I'm not hungover. I'm not grouchy. I'm proud of that person. And when you're proud of that person, you can be a really good coach.
Yeah, absolutely. Not just proud, but you're in love with that person now.
I think she's all right.
Girl, you better be loving myself. That's the episode I'm on right now. With this parasite again.
I'm loving you. I am loving you.
Thank you, girl.
Yeah.
So, it's an important part. And I wanted to touch on that because I know that we're going to get to the good part of some of the programs you've got coming up. But I just really want to make sure I've just explained who you were. Because honestly, when you went into detail, it was an accident because I don't usually do that. But I was just like, what? And I think the part of stepping into alignment, it's important that people understand it's not pretty. It's probably the most painful episode of our life because in that stillness lies so much pain, right? Yeah. But past the threshold is the victory. Oh my God, I transformed these narratives into something that were going to actually help me, help others, So how did that feel for you when you were doing that, and what aligned you into that? What came with it?
So it's really funny. I've spoken about this before, and I've always said it was almost like I was there was like a shroud of shame that was kind of over me, and I didn't even know it was shame. because the thing about shame is it keeps it a secret, right? And,
Yeah.
and you don't even know, it lies to you. And and I kind of had this, and it'd been weighing on me for a number of like years, and it was little things that had happened to me like throughout my life. And all of a sudden it kind of was in my throat, and I didn't even know how to vocalize it. I didn't even know exactly what it was, what I needed to say. But I knew that if I started, it wouldn't stop.
Yeah.
And then I was like, well, who do I tell this to?
Wow.
Because who's not going to judge me? Am I going to be safe? Like, what's going to happen? And once I open this, am I opening Pandora's box?
Yeah.
And how is that going to go down with everyone around me that I love? And I'm going to change as a person, and I might lose these people. And there's all this that kind of was happening inside me. And the one day I just woke up and I just couldn't hold it in anymore, couldn't push it down.
Yeah.
And I was really lucky. I had a really good friend, and I phoned her and I was like, I need your help. Wow. And we sat there for probably about 3 or 4 hours, and I just like literally
Yeah.
and she was so good. She sat there and she was just like, Sam, I think you're seeing this in a different way to how I see it when you tell the story. And then gradually the shame started to lift. And then after that I went to see therapists and I worked through it, and I started to realise that some of this stuff was not my shame. I shouldn't be ashamed of it. It was stuff that had happened to me. And then after that I was then strong enough to tell friends and family about it and other stuff. And I started to realise that nothing bad's coming from this. In fact, people are really supportive. They understand why I've made decisions. They're no longer judging me. And it was such a relief. And I truly then could step into the person that I really wanted to be. However, off the back of that, and I've said, like, at the time, there was parts of it that felt really good, but there were parts of it that were really icky. And when you start to talk about these things, sometimes they do come back. And you might have down days. You might feel blue. You might feel a bit low. But the one thing I learned through going through that is I have really broad shoulders now, and I am very resilient.
Yeah.
And that is something I'm really proud of. And before, when I'd have the down days, I wouldn't understand what it was. And I always would criticize myself. But now when they come, okay. Yeah. It's that. But you've got through a lot, so you can carry on.
I call it emotional weightlifting.
Yes.
You've literally just been at the gym. Every time you're dealing with something, you're like, when we're first presented with that moment where we tap into our stillness and, just tears come out and, proper ugly cry and wail, because it's the weight of that emotion. But the more we revisit it, the more that we build that emotional muscle. So now when you say you've got broad muscles, it's that emotional resilience, give me something now. Well, don't tempt, don't call to the universe. No, we're not. I rebuke.
Divine intervention coming here.
Oh, see.
And I agree with that. And I think it's having the strength. You gain strength through going through something like that. But you just said something then when it was when we tap into our stillness.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I loved that. And that was the one thing. I could not be still. No way. If I was at the gym, I was doing cardio, I was always non-stop. I'd be working non-stop, filling my life with whatever I could. Was just accumulating stuff, more stuff, and more drama. I just couldn't be still.
Yeah.
And I went on a yoga retreat, and we did yin yoga. I don't know if you've ever done this.
No.
So yin yoga is when you stay in a position for a long amount of time. And all your body starts to shake.
Hope it wasn't on one leg. I was going to say game over. I can't.
Honestly, some of the things, I think at one point it was in a pigeon pose, so you've got your leg wrapped around your back, and anyway, oh yeah. And I'm not the best at yoga, but I was there.
Oh God.
And I was thinking, I'm going to kill these. And I had rage. I wanted to kill the yoga instructor. Like, honestly, the things that were going through my head, because she was making me sit still.
Yeah. Forcing you to just,
And no one had ever done that. I'd always managed to find my way out of it. You know, like, you know, when you were 6 years old and you sit on the school mat, I would find a way.
Yeah.
You know, I'd be like off in my head or doing whatever. And she made me do it. And once I moved, I was like in euphoria. I was like, God, that was the best thing ever. But afterwards, like, we had a really serious conversation, and she was like, look, there's something here. And she noticed that in me. And now I can see it in others.
Wow.
And I think you have that gift too, right? When people are buzzing around and they don't stop, they're filling their life with all of this stuff. It's a massive sign that there's something that needs to be faced.
Yeah. I think in all actuality, there's almost like a physical body and a spiritual body. It's like you said, some people can be physically present, but spiritually they're gone, you know, like they're still, they're somewhere else in their mind or, you know, and I think wellness, ultimate holistic well-being is about being physically present.
Yeah.
It's, you know, with your mind, your heart,
and
your body, you know.
And I totally agree. But for ages, so I was massive into manifesting stuff. I was always manifesting. I was like, I'm manifesting this, and I thought, you do it all in your head. You do it all in your head. And for years, I'd just be living in my head. And then people would talk about, oh, come on, be present, be in your body, and I'd be like, no, I'm manifesting. I'm in my head. You know, I'm visualizing this, and then one day it just clicked, and I was like, yeah, I've been manifesting all wrong.
Yeah.
And I finally came back into my body. And when you start to come back into your body, you start to notice different things, like my heart beating, for one. Like, I started to feel what it was like to have aches and pains, and, you know, really connecting with my body. One of the things I did was, as I start to like moisturize my body and like kind of look at myself while I was doing it, I'd never done that. I'd never paid attention to my body. I was always in my head. And then all of a sudden I came back and I was more present, and the peace started to come. And then that was when I was in the perfect manifesting place, because I'm completely at peace.
Yeah. Let's honour that moment. Take a deep breath. That was beautiful, really. I can't believe the time. I'm looking at the time like, how is it that time? Like, no, it can't be.
Time to
right.
go.
No, we're not doing it yet. I got my eye on.
She's not finished with me yet.
I got my eye on the clock. Right, we're gonna quickly get this. So,
yeah.
With all of that experience, and I'm so sorry we didn't even get to most of it, but what you shared, Sam, amazing. Thank you so much for your transparency, because it translates so well, you know. So you've now got sense and sensibility.
Yeah, sense and serenity. I mean, sensibility would work well, but I just don't think we're sensible enough.
Sorry, let's say that again I'll cut that out in the recording. Sense and serenity.
Sense and serenity. We could be sensible, but I just think that would be boring. Yes, so there's 4 of us. Yeah, yes. There's me, you, Dee, and Sophia. And we are coming together, Compound in Birmingham. It's on the 26th of September. And we are bringing together an event where women get to try all of these amazing wellness techniques. Yes. So they're going to be doing breath work with you. They're going to be doing some visualization, and we're going to be doing meditation, as well as networking and coming together to form deeper connections. And that's what it's all about. We're going into silly season. It's coming into that time of year where everyone's kind of stressing about money. We're all trying to like rush around. It's going to get darker. It's really important we concentrate on our wellness. We've got a number of expert coaches there to help guide these women through these exercises and to help them feel more aligned, more attuned, and ready for the next few months.
Amazing. So this is a live and lead collaboration with yourself.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. I'm just so glad I'm part of it, to be honest, because I know
glad you're part of
I'll be taking notes with the parts that I'm not facilitating. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And I'm sure everyone that's been listening knows that they're going to come, because we've just had a snapshot of who you are and the experiences that you've had, let alone you've got qualifications and whatnot. And then, yes, if anybody wants to get in touch.
Yeah, if anybody wants to get in touch, they can find me on Facebook, Instagram, or my website, which is www.samanthafaulkner.com.
I love it. What are you doing? What are you doing for your well-being on a daily basis?
Oh my God, what am I not?
Oh dear.
How long have we got? So, my favourite thing at the moment is writing out my positive affirmations.
Okay.
So I have a book, and my aim is to fill the book. And I have about 15 positive affirmations, and I write them daily.
I love it.
Well, Mum, I've just told you a lie. I don't do them every day. Like, I do my best, but I'm busy, right? So I do my best.
I'll speak to you after the show, Sam. This is disgusting, really. Disgusting behaviour.
Disgusting behaviour.
Practice what
I do
you
my
preach,
best.
okay, love?
Yeah. I do my best. But yeah, and that's how I do it. So positive affirmations, they're affirmations that I came up with myself, things that I really believe are right for me. They make sense when I write them. I really feel it truly and deeply. And yeah, I get them out there every single, I write the data, I write them out, and they work for me.
Brilliant. Right. Well, loved having you on, finally, because I was stalking you for a hot minute. Come on, Sam, today. We did it.
I got here. It was great. I loved it.
Okay, so thank you so much.